Hey artists, today in the Weldon Art Studio you're going to be adding color to the oops that you made last week with the black glue. You're going to have a choice of 3 supplies to use. In fact, you can use all 3, I just want you to get one at a time though. But for all of them you're going to need water, a sponge, and a paintbrush on a tray. And I'll show you for the procedure for that after the video. The first supply you have the option of using is just traditional watercolor paints. I don't keep them in the case because they get all even yuckier in there. And so they're just out like this. I have limited refills right now. I'm waiting for the refills to come in. But if you do need a refill, you just pop it out and pop the new one in. I don't have any blue refills. So if you want blue, you're going to need to use a different supply for blue. So with traditional watercolors, the first thing you need to do is to add a little bit of water to wake up the paint, okay, because it's dried. So you just have to drop a little bit of water in there and then you're ready to paint. We don't ever scrub the brush down in the paint. You want to keep the brush pointy, and if you have water on your brush, it is going to pick up the paint out of the tray without you having to put any pressure. You want to put very, very little pressure on your paintbrush. That's what ruins paintbrushes actually, is when you press down really hard. Always, always rinse your brush, and then you're going to make an X on the sponge to wipe any extra paint off before you get a new color. You're going to get more water on your brush and then choose your next color. With this type of watercolor, you need a very wet brush. So you always want to make sure that you're getting extra water on your brush before you get your next color. The next supply you can experiment with are watercolor pencils. You'll know that they're watercolor pencils because you'll see the watercolor brush on the side of the pencil. Otherwise, they're really hard to tell from traditional colored pencils. Now, except for the lead is softer, so do not sharpen them in the pencil sharpener. You're going to use one of the little sharpeners. The tops come off very easily, so be careful about that, to sharpen them. They don't need to be very sharp, because really you're just trying to fill an area, and then you're going to use your wet paintbrush to basically make it look like paint. So you just color like you would with a regular colored pencil. You don't have to put a lot of pressure on it. They're very soft, and then you just get a wet paintbrush. You go over that area, and it's just going to make it look like watercolor paint. These are super easy to use. They're they're not messy at all. Again, you saw me wipe my brush because I know I'm going to change colors, and I want to make sure I don't have any of that green still on my brush before I add water to the purple. Your third option is liquid watercolor paint, which if you've been in my class long, you've used this before. It's super easy to tip over. It's very easy to spill, so make sure you put it in one of these containers or keep it in the container while you're using it. Again, you want to make sure your brush is really clean before you get any of the paint on your brush. I'm getting yellow first, so with yellow, you really want to make sure your brush is completely clean. You don't need a lot of water with this paint because it's already liquidy. Liquidy, is that a word? It goes on very smooth without adding any water to it. So you're able to get a really smooth finish. You may use all 3 of these supplies. In fact, I would encourage you to use all 3 just to kind of experiment and see the different things that you can do with them. However, I want you to only get one at a time. After you finish with one, please put it back correctly. Again, we want to make sure we're taking care of our supplies and our studio so you continue to have these kind of choices. So put your materials back. It's okay to keep your water dish and your brush in your tray, but return the supply you were using before you get another one. So again, your 3 options today for painting are watercolor pencils. You'll need to get a basket to put them in and a pencil sharpener. Your other choice is liquid watercolor paint in a tray, or a traditional watercolor palette. Or you can use all 3, but only get one at a time, return it, and then get another supply. Have fun!